Jallianwalla Bagh controversy, examining atrocities and historical perspectives. Indian rebels and causes. The Indian protesters at Jallianwalla Bagh were predominantly Sikhs, coming together to express their grievances against British colonial rule for various reasons. The passing of the Rowlatt Act without consulting Indian leaders led to widespread unrest, enabling incarceration without trial. Prominent political activists like Satyapal and Saifuddin Kichlu's arrests and deportation fueled public anger. Reports of mistreatment of Sikh soldiers by British officers in Mesopotamia, present-day Iraq, during World War I further ignited tensions. Atrocities committed by Indians. It's essential to acknowledge that Indians were also involved in acts of violence, including looting, rape, murder, and destruction during the Jallianwalla Bagh massacre. Some Indian historical accounts suggest that a minority of Indian protesters were armed and fired shots during the incident. Instances of violence by Indians included attacking British officers, firing at the Indian Army, rioting, destruction of property, and theft, as well as other criminal activities. Arrests and prosecutions. Historian Ian Copeland reports that around 10,000 Indians were arrested and prosecuted after the Jallianwalla Bagh massacre, primarily in Punjab and other provinces. Sentences ranged from simple imprisonment to life imprisonment with hard labor for those convicted of rioting or related activities. Violence by Indians and British role. Some Indians fired upon their fellow Indians during the massacre, and it's crucial to recognize that Indian soldiers in the British-led Indian Army were involved in these actions. The violence was perpetrated by both Indians and British forces, and General Dyer, a British officer, was involved in the events. Sikh honoring of General Dyer. The Shiromani Gurdwara Prabandhak Committee (SGPC) honored General Dyer with titles like Sher-e-Punjab, Lion of Punjab, and Pant Ratant, Jewel of Faith, for quelling the Jallianwalla Bagh riots. While controversial, these honors were extended to Dyer by some Sikh leaders in Punjab. Gandhi's stance on General Dyer. Gandhi's stance on General Dyer is nuanced. He expressed concerns about excessive punishment for Dyer, fearing potential unrest, but he did not praise Dyer's actions. The book, Gandhi, the Man, His People and the Empire, by Rajmohan Gandhi includes a quote suggesting Gandhi's recognition of Dyer's role in stopping further bloodshed. Indian newspaper reports. Indian newspapers covered the Jallianwalla Bagh massacre, reporting on both Indian involvement and the overwhelming nature of the shooting by British-led Indian Army. Accounts documented instances of rising violence before the massacre, reflecting tensions in the region. Repetition of historical narratives. Historical narratives have varied over time, with Indian nationalist and imperialist accounts both emphasizing different aspects of the events. Balanced scholarship involves critically evaluating multiple perspectives to better understand the complexities of the massacre. Indian historians' views. Indian historians emphasize the need for a balanced and honest portrayal of the massacre, acknowledging Indian involvement in violence while also recognizing the disproportionate response by British-led Indian forces. The events at Jallianwalla Bagh serve as a reminder of the complexity of historical incidents and the importance of examining all facets of the tragedy. Number of Indians gathered. Estimates of the number of Indians gathered at Jallianwalla Bagh on April 13, 1919, vary widely, with figures ranging from 10,000 to 20,000. While the exact crowd size remains uncertain due to limited official records, it is evident that a significant number defied martial law orders prohibiting public gatherings. Context and complexities. The Jallianwalla Bagh massacre remains a pivotal moment in Indian history, marked by a range of factors including British colonialism, internal conflicts, and societal divisions. The violence and atrocities committed during the massacre were not solely the result of British actions but were influenced by a combination of factors within Indian society. It is vital to examine the incident within a broader context and recognize that multiple parties were involved in shaping the tragic events of that day. Modern reflection and scholarship. Scholars and historians continue to revisit the Jallianwalla Bagh massacre, aiming to offer a more comprehensive and accurate understanding of the events that transpired. By acknowledging the atrocities committed by Indians against Indians and critically assessing historical narratives, a more nuanced perspective can emerge, contributing to a more informed interpretation of this complex historical episode. In conclusion, the Jallianwalla Bagh controversy requires a balanced examination that considers both British colonial actions and the involvement of Indians in the violence and atrocities. While British-led Indian forces were responsible for the mass shooting, it is essential to recognize the complex dynamics and factors that contributed to the tragic events of April 13, 1919. This approach allows for a more complete understanding of history and promotes a deeper appreciation of the complexities that shape historical narratives.